Please don't take my money. Please, please, I beg of you. I only work a minimum wage job. I only can afford like little gifts for myself. Eat, live. Do you want me to live on the streets? Are you guys serious? You know I'm not the richest person, right? I don't have the money to pay you back the interest. I don't monetize videos. I'm not even a sponsor. I just do this because it's fun. Look, I'll show you guys, okay? Hey guys, Zero here. This is Zero Reviews. Sorry for a sudden one, but well, I want to talk to you guys about my favorite Kamen Rider series right now, Kamen Rider Gaim. Kamen Rider Gaim. This was the first Rider series I followed throughout its entire run. I'd tune into the streams every day at 5 or 6 p.m. I'd wait for Acer to quickly whip up the subtitles so I could understand what was even going on, and it was just an amazing series to boot. If you're not too into tokusatsu and you just want to see maybe one show and be done with it, watch Kamen Rider Gaim. Trust me when I say it's probably one of the best series you could watch standalone from the Kamen Rider franchise. But that's not giving credit where credit is due. You see, they usually hire back the writers for series that have worked on previous series. Now, the one thing they did this time, though, was get someone who hadn't done tokusatsu before, and that was Gen Urobuchi. You may remember him from a number of animes he's done, but the most popular I've seen referenced is Madoka Magica. Trust me when I say that he did a phenomenal job with this series. So Kamen Rider Gaim takes place in the castle town of Zawame City, where life is made easier by the intervention of Yggdrasil, a large pharmaceutical company that helped redevelop the quiet town into something much more. In order to express themselves, teenagers formed dance groups known as Beat Riders, but when rivalries started to grow, devices known as lock seeds were given to them in order to settle their differences by not using direct violence. Instead, the lock seeds summon creatures known as Inves who fight for their owners. The Beat Riders use the Inves in order to settle stage disputes and other rivalries they may have. Our main protagonist, Koda, had left the Beat Rider team he was a part of, Team Gaim, in order to become a more responsible adult. However, he's suddenly dragged back into the Beat Riders and their Inves games when Team Gaim's leader, Yuya, goes missing. Along with that, a new mysterious belt called the Sengoku Driver is now being sent to certain teams. Using the Sengoku Driver meant for Yuya, Koda transforms into Kamen Rider Gaim in order to fight for Team Gaim. Finally, he's also trying to uncover the mystery of the strange forest where the Inves and Lock Seeds originate from, as well as Yggdrasil's ties to the forest. So those are pretty much all the details I'm willing to give, because I'll be honest here, Kamen Rider Gaim is a very, very story-heavy series. The story keeps on going continuously, building and building till the final battle. But yes, if you're confused by the little Pokemon aspect with the Inves, the dance teams, and of course the fruit armor, don't be. And don't be put off by it, because, well, there's a lot more to the show than what I had just said for the summary. The characters are an interesting bag, and there's too many to talk about, so I'll talk about the 4 title characters of the show. First, you have Koda, who's trying to become a responsible adult whilst he still has an innocent nature to him. I could bond with Kota most definitely, as he was trying to get a job and figure out what it means to be an adult during the series, which was something I was doing around that time as well. Hell, the funny coincidence is when Kota finally lands a job in the series, I land my first job not even a week later. But yes, the series is him going through the ordeals placed in front of him and trying to grow into a proper adult. Next we have the secondary writer, Kaito, who is probably the most straightforward of the main cast. See, Kaito revolves around his philosophy of strength, which is survival of the fittest. This ties into his main goal at the end of the series, and he's surprisingly the underdog as compared to most secondary writers. He doesn't get a proper upgrade form, for good reasons as we find out later on in the series, but still. It's interesting to see Kaito and Kota clash, with Kaito being the cold and ruthless type, and Kota being the kind and caring type. Now, we have one of the many other armored riders, Mitsuzune Kurashima, or rather, Michi as his friends call him. Michi is a very controversial character among the fanbase. You'll be able to see a glimpse of it during the first arc. He is Kota's best friend, and his characterization is always wanting to keep his best friend's interests in mind. Though his view on this becomes very twisted and more so as the series progresses. What also doesn't help is that he has to deal with a double lifestyle. He and his brother are part of the family that owns Yggdrasil, but he dances with the beat riders because he feels he can express himself better. It's another interesting aspect about Michi himself, and he's a pretty interesting character, all things considered. The final armored rider I'm going to talk about is Kamen Rider Zangetsu, or Takatora Kurashima. Takatora is Michi's older brother, and is in charge of the Yggdrasil Research and Development Department. In the beginning of the series, you see a good mix between cold-hearted and caring, as he cares for his brother and his studies as well as believing Yggdrasil can truly help the world. However, when he's in battle or facing off against the other armored riders, he's cold and will defeat them to make sure they don't interfere. But he does have some restraint, of course. Now, of course, the real key to his development is Kota, but I'll leave that for the series itself since I don't want to spoil that as well. In terms of presentation and music, well, the presentation is standard for all tokusatsu shows. Good suits, pretty good music, neat effects, and passable CGI, though they did try to do a decent job with the CGI in this series. The suits mix armor and fruit well for the most part, though later suits begin to ditch the motif, or at least for Gaim anyway, as his forms get increasingly more armor-based in design than fruit. If there's one thing with the suits that they were able to do well was suit recycling. A lot of the extra suits they made for these were recycled in one way or another later on. A few suits suffer from this slightly, like Baron Lemon Energy Arms or the Omotsuhegiri armor, either from them not making the base suit look near compatible with the armor, or from not painting a certain portion of it, thus breaking up the color scheme. That being said, the monster designs are very great in this series. Despite the invest for the most part being based after different animals, they managed to do a good job with making the suits interesting. Plus, because this is a species right down to its core, it means evolved invests that pop up one episode can show up the next, because it's an actual species and not just a single monster in a monster group. The way the series is shot is pretty good as well. Aside from a few instances, I thought this was pretty top-notch all things considered. Though the music is pretty good as well, and you've probably heard it throughout my Kamen Rider related videos and non-Rider related videos as well. The insert songs that they put into fights like Toki no Hana, Never Surrender, Rambu Escalation, and so on are pretty great. Overall, while Gaim does have a few faults in some pacing and certain aspects, that doesn't make it bad. Hell, it's the first Rider series since Double that I've absolutely loved from start to finish. It went away from the formula of previous Rider series and worked out well in the long run. If you just want to watch a singular Rider series, this is the Rider to do that with. That being said, be wary as this may not be the best pick for your first Rider series if you continue to watch Rider, as it may spoil you in terms of how things are done. Either way, it's still a good series that I'd wholeheartedly recommend to people. I hope you guys enjoyed this recommends. I know I needed it. Anyway, I'm Zero, this was Zero Recommends, and I'll be seeing you guys next time.
きっと担うんだこの話 に重ねた手のひらに見えた覚悟という名の赤い魂雷鳴共鳴しじまを切り裂いてさまよう心は叫び出す瞳の奥の誓いの少年燃やせ深く深く闇に咲いた大火
Now do you see why I do this? Well, I don't know. I was trying to get into the spirit of Poker Night 2, but obviously that failed. So what are you guys gonna do now? Yeah, that's fine. I'm used to little small characters invading my house and living with me. Actually, speaking of which, I have a feeling you guys were the ones that did it. Where's Bob-omb Buddy? Oh my god! Bob-omb Buddy, I'm coming for you!